Hey guys, Wax here from the West Coast Storm Watch. I am going to talk to you guys today about location zones. What are location zones? Location zones split a region or county into many different parts. The National Weather Service has 3 different types of location zones they use to issue forecasts and warnings with. These location zones are forecasts, counties, and fire weather. Forecast zones are used by the National Weather Service for issuing forecasts, public information statements, winter weather and non-precipitation warnings, as well as special weather statements, short-term forecasts, and hazardous weather outlooks. Location zones are named and are set up like this: state abbreviation, then Z for zone, and the 3-digit number. These numbers are not in alphabetical order, or the zones are not, and they are not by counties. They may split They usually will split counties in half until you go up to the East Coast, and a bunch of most zones over on the East Coast, forecast zones and counties are the exact same.
So then it's the East Coast Storm Watch doing the West Coast Storm Watch focusing out right now.
Wait, what?
That's the East Coast Storm Watch doing their own thing. We should mind our own business, bro.
We are, but I'm talking about how the East Coast is with the National Weather Service, doing like counties and everything.
I know that.
That's our other forecaster from the Oxnard. I'm from the Moses Lake one. So, the forecast zone that we are in right now is Washington Zone 034, Moses Lake area, Washington. The forecast zones, this is an example of a heading for a wind, well, not a header, but it's zone thing for the wind advisory for issued by the National Weather Service in Pendleton today. It's the 42nd wind advisory of the year, and it was issued. Expires at 6 o'clock Zulu tomorrow morning, which is about about now. It expired at 10 tonight. The ORZ, WAZ are the state codes. The state abbreviation always goes first, then the zone number, well, Z, then zone, then the zone number, which is always 3-digit, even or odd. So the next one is the main zone numbers. The greater than or less than signs, those indicate that there are zones in between. So instead of doing like 27, 28, they do it like that. The box has the names for the zone numbers, and those are placed in numerical order. Like Oregon Zone 041 is Eastern Columbia River Gorge of Oregon. 044 is Lower Columbia Basin of Oregon, and so on with that. The second line on that is actually just other information about the warning or watch or advisory. County zones are simple, and they are used for severe thunderstorm warnings and watches. They are used for other severe weather warnings. They're used for non-weather emergency messages as well. Washington County Zone 000, sometimes those will be used for statewide alerts. In the state of Washington, they use the Emergency Operations Center to broadcast the Amber Alerts. So they will use that. The last the 3-digit code is actually used with our FIPS code or SAME code. And in Canada, they call them the Canadian Location Code. The code we have here is 025, Grant County, Washington. That includes Moses Lake. 053025 is our same code.
And if I may intervene on this one, I would like to say that I believe the Oregon same code is 007, and I believe that the California same code is 006.
I don't think so. Oregon is 041. I'm not sure what California is, but it's in there somewhere. 6 probably.
California is 006. It goes down from 006001 all the way down to, I believe, 0060104. So that goes down from 104 counties, and the current 2 same codes for the Los Angeles and Oxnard area would have to be Los Angeles County, which is 006 0037. No, actually, yeah. Oh no, wait, 35. Actually, no, it's 31. And Kern County is 006029. So the only difference is that the Los Angeles transmitter, not transmitter, the same code is by 37, and the Kern County is 29. So it's only out by a few counties because it's going down from northern to southern California.
Yeah. They're in alphabetical order, so, and they're always odd, so they skip numbers. The next one is our fire weather zones. They're just like the other National Weather Service zones, but they're used for fire weather products. The zone that we have for the Moses Lake is the Northern Columbia Basin, is Washington Zone 673. Now for the West Coast Storm Watch location zones. Every county in the West Coast Storm Watch zone is going to get this. Even regional districts in Canada will also get location zones. But I'm going to decide on that. That is if I find a count. I'll probably just get a map or something. West Coast Storm Watch location zones. The West Coast Storm Watch has a different system than the National Weather Service does when dealing with location zones. We set up our zones by counties like the National Weather Service county zone, but we add in cities usually larger than 10,000 in population. They're added like in circles, or like in a little circle. Sometimes a big blob if it's a metropolitan. This is how we set up our location zones. The state or abbreviation goes first, LZ, location zone, and the 3-digit number. We just randomized it. It's not like National Weather Service county zones. Actually,
if I may intervene once again for the people that are watching this video,
okay.
What are the state codes and county numbers, as you say, that go in order by order for each region that the West Coast Storm Watch goes for in the states?
Well, we don't have FIPS codes for the West Coast Storm Watch location zones, but our location zones go by National Weather Service office in alphabetical order counties. So like Spokane, Adams County would be Washington Zone 005. We do them ending in zeros or fives. The 000 would be like the whole state. 005 is the first county of the first National Weather Service office zone. It's not in alphabetical order, it's by region. It used to be just random throughout the whole state. Pendleton Zone in Washington, Benton County is 070, I think. And then, of course, it includes the city. Like Moses Lake, I think it's like 035. The city of Moses Lake is 037. And so we're going to talk about that in the next one. And we'll also talk about mega metropolitan areas such as LA and Seattle. This is how we set them up. All county digits end in 0 or 5. Cities end in rather 1 if the county digits end in 0, or 7 if the county digit ends in 5. Metropolitan areas are a bit different. 3s if county digits end in 0, and 9 if county digits end in 5. Not every county actually a lot of most counties in the West Coast Storm Watch do not have city or metropolitan area codes. There are some counties with more than that, and there are of course a few counties that are swallowed by mega metropolitan area zones. And this is how we do it. Major metropolitan areas such as Seattle will receive 2 forecast zones. Number 1 is a county metropolitan zone, which is what we will use if there is a warning for King County, and that all of King County will include this county metropolitan zone, and that includes just part of Seattle and King County, and you will see the map at the end. These zones. Okay.
Another intervene right now.
Yeah.
In the event that there is a non-weather emergency, more or less like what happened with the Monterey accident this summer in Monterey County in San Francisco with the Chevron fire. In those types of specific emergencies, how will we handle that instead of regular weather emergencies?
For anything we basically post for locations, we will use the location zones for it. But in the case with San Francisco, there are tiny counties near that area. San Francisco is going to get a major metropolitan area zone. There is a county metropolitan area. San Francisco is going to be the only exception to this. They're only going to get a whole metropolitan area. So the San Francisco metropolitan area will basically cover a bunch of counties around San Francisco. And I don't know how big the county is. That county, I'll probably just, San Francisco will probably not get a metropolitan area. Well, we'll only get a whole metropolitan area. We'll just use counties for that area. Cities like Seattle, they're going to get a large zone for it. They're going to get a county metropolitan area, which will be required. Even if there's a non-weather emergency, our location zones will be used for those. I'm basically designing these to be used by region. So east side of Washington will get like the first half, and the west side will get the other half. The whole metropolitan areas, those will be all urban areas around a major city, which means that the Olympia, Tacoma, Everett, well, probably not as far as Olympia and Everett, but Tacoma and Seattle will be covered in a whole metropolitan area zone. And those will be just in case like there's some sort of warning issued for all the west side of Washington or something. We could use that instead. Those digits will begin in 5, but will remain with its county name. Like King County, let's say that Seattle, King County is Washington Zone 010. Seattle would get 013 or 013 for its county and 513 for its whole. LA, Vegas, Flagstaff, well, Phoenix, I don't think about Flagstaff about that. Billings, San Francisco, Albuquerque, El Paso. We will cover parts of western Texas for that. They will receive these, and a couple other cities, Salt Lake. This is our location map for the West Coast Storm Watch, Washington. As you see, there's a bunch of circles. You got Spokane on the east, Pullman, which contains WSU, Clarkston, because Lewiston's in Idaho, and Lewiston has its own area. You got Walla Walla, the Tri-Cities, which actually is kind of a whole metropolitan area. It's the only exception to the rule, almost one of the only exceptions when it comes to the zones. The Tri-Cities covers 2 counties. You got the city of Moses Lake, you got the city of Yakima, you got East Wenatchee and Wenatchee, Seattle, Olympia, Tacoma, Everett. And you got Vancouver. I don't know what the dot in Oregon is. I highly doubt I know about that. This is where we cover. The green is where Matt, who was on the phone with us, covers. He covers California, his state, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Wyoming, as well as western Texas and the all of Nebraska Panhandle. I cover Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, British Columbia, Alberta, and Yukon, and western North Dakota, western South Dakota. Now the states that are partially split, those will only be during severe weather in that area. So if that area is experiencing weather, then we will cover the area. Other times, no.
If I may intervene one more time, in the event that if this is what happens, we don't know if this will happen, but in the event that the United States is under an emergency action notification, what will happen to the status of the West Coast Storm Watch until an all clear?
It's going to go down to DEFCON 1. Now, DEFCON is going to be on our next PowerPoint. I'm going to make probably tomorrow or Sunday. But DEFCON 1, I have established a regional-wide West Coast Storm Watch zone, West Coast Storm Watch Zone 000. And I've also established other regional areas for the West Coast Storm Watch, like Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and all that stuff. And I got 15 minutes on here. So check out on our Facebook page. This is our Facebook page, the West Coast Storm Watch. You could get our latest information, and you could also join the West Coast Storm Watch community. Join us on